Hey, what's up guys, and welcome in this new tutorial where I'm gonna show you how to make a tech house sub bass. So before starting with this video, I would like to remind you that all of the samples are from our sample pack Fiesta Volume 3, which is our Terra's tech house collection that includes one-shots, loops, construction kits and much more, and you can check it out from the link in the description below. So nowadays in a lot of tech house tracks you might hear that you only have a sub bass which is doing pretty much everything and is covering the entire low range. So here I've made a quick loop. Like this, and then we have this bass line. So at the moment we have just this serum initial preset. So that's the bassline, and as you can see it's just a one bar loop which is repeated itself, and this is really common with this type of sub bassline. Here we're starting from scratch, so the first option that you have in order to make a sub bass is obviously to use a sine wave. So we're gonna go in the basic shape, and here we have our sine wave. And this doesn't sound bad, but it's just too dry. So the most important thing here when you're making a sine wave sub bass is actually the distortion that you're using. So here instead of serum we can test quite a bit of distortion options. So let's start with this one. Yeah, much better. So one thing that you can do here is add a filter like an MGLO 24 and add some drive just to add some more harmonics. Really important also here to have an hi-cat, otherwise it would sound like this. As you can hear, the filter that we have is operating before the effects here in Serum, so if you want you can also add another filter here in order to reduce some of the distortion and cut the higher frequencies on this one. But we're doing this job with the EQ8, so we're gonna keep it like this, and that's the first way that you can do that. However, we're gonna turn off the distortion, and I'm gonna show you a small problem that you might have when using a sine wave. So we're gonna use pan in this case. As you can see, the problem with the sine wave is that we are only using this range of frequencies, which goes from around 140, 150 to 45, 40, and this happens to be exactly the same range of the kick drum. As you can see here, we have the body of the kick drum, and when we play the two together, they are basically overlapping. And this can cause some problems in the mixing, because you have all of the energy of the low frequencies here focused in this area. So there are a few ways that you can fix this issue. You can, for example, shift here the kick by a few semitones down, but this generally doesn't help that much because it really messes up the sound of the kick drum. The main solution here is basically layering this sine wave, and obviously with the distortion we have some more upper harmonics. So first of all, I'm going to show you the span with the distortion. As you can see, much fuller. We are having also these harmonics here. So we have these added harmonics, but the real difference here is gonna be turning on oscillator B. We're gonna link it to the filter, and then in the basic shapes we're gonna select a triangle. And we're gonna put it up by 1 octave. As you can see, we are getting much more body in this area of the span. So the next thing is gonna be adding a compressor. So we're gonna keep the attack as it is, we don't want it to be too fast. We can make the release a bit shorter, and then we want to compress a bit here of the sub bass just to make it more even and more stable in the track. Like this. And yeah, basically this is the first option that you have in making a sub bass. So I'm gonna call this one I'm gonna duplicate it and add a second one, and here I'm gonna show you a different way that you can approach this. So I'm gonna start from scratch, adding the filter. Here, instead of a sine wave, we're gonna use a square. And I'm gonna layer it with a saw. Still adding a bit of distortion. Like this, and then we can do a comparison between the two. As you can see, they sound really similar. On the first one, we have a bit more harmonics, sounding a bit fuller because we have this triangle shape and because the distortion that we're doing here is a bit more aggressive. But in general, they sound very similar, so you might want to use this option as well if it fits better with your track. But in general, the sine wave with a bit of distortion and an upper layer is generally the right solution for most tech house tracks. So here you can have a full listen of what we've done in this tutorial. Yeah, and basically that's all for this video. Don't forget to check out Fiesta Volume 3 from the link in the description below. Let us know what tutorial would you like to see next, and I'll see you soon. Bye!